everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, the Libertarian car guy, and I'm going down the road here in a new Volkswagen Jetta that they just dropped off for me to spend the week driving. And I'm feeling kind of sad about it because you can't get the Jetta with the diesel engine anymore, and that was really kind of the jewel of the lineup, in that you could buy a TDI powered version of this car for just under $22,000 if memory serves, before the whole cheating debacle began. And of course, since that happened, Volkswagen has had to pull out of the diesel market entirely. They no longer sell any diesel powered cars whatsoever in the United States. And I think that's just downright tragic. Now, the other day I posted an article about Trump and the Zampolits. Some of you people who are history buffs, or maybe you'll remember the Hunt for Red October, will know what a Zampolit is. That's Russian for political officer. And back in the days of the old Soviet Union, commanders, military commanders, would be assigned a political officer, and the political officer would make sure that the military commander acted in a politically correct way, and would second guess all of the commander's decisions, and if the commander acted in a way that was not politically correct, had the ability to, well, pretty much get the commander put up against the wall and shot. Today it's kind of analogous. We have Zampolits in Washington, at the EPA, and much more so, in my opinion, at the DOT, the Department of Transportation, and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. I was on Tom Wood's show the other day, and we talked about this a little bit. And by the way, that interview is also live on the site. But I made the argument, or made the point, that leaving aside the EPA for just the moment, you can at least say credibly, morally, that what comes out of the exhaust pipe of a car affects more than yourself, at least potentially. I'll debate with anybody who wants to debate whether an increase in oxides of nitrogen from 0.02 to 0.03% or vice versa is in any way materially harmful to anyone. But let's just leave it at if what your car produces hurts somebody else, I can understand the reason for having some kind of regulatory regime. But when it comes to safety, which is what NHTSA is all about, why is this any of their business? Why is it any of the government's business at all, whether I or you buy a car that has airbags or doesn't have airbags, or has ABS or doesn't have ABS, or weighs 4,000 pounds or weighs 1,500 pounds? These are things that I think ought to be up to each of us to choose for ourselves, to weigh the costs and the benefits. There's this idiotic notion that safety would not sell, and unless the government forced people to buy safe cars, they wouldn't. Well, the reason I say it's idiotic is simply because you can point out the fact that Volvo, for example, built its entire business model on selling safety. Back in the 60s and the 70s, that and durability was what sold Volvos, not sexiness. They were known to be very big, heavy, safe cars. They did that in the free market way. They made big, heavy cars and they offered them for sale, and people who prioritized that, who thought that that was the most important consideration when buying a car, were free to buy those cars, and Volvo made lots of money that way. Well, now Volvo's kind of in trouble. Volvo was sold to the Chinese, and Volvos now are trying to be like BMWs and Mercedes and Lexus, sporty and high-tech and all of that. And the reason for that is every car is now like a Volvo because of the government, and that's the issue. The government demands that all cars be made safe, that is, able to pass these very strict crashworthiness standards and come with things like backup cameras, and be able to roll on their roof and not have the roof crush. And those things may indeed be valuable, but again, it's no more the government's business to dictate those things to people than it is to tell them how many slices of bacon they're allowed to have in a given week. Most of us would accept that it's our choice to eat bacon if we want to, and assume the risk, potentially, of higher cholesterol and possibly a heart attack down the road, that it's our business to do that. But these no-goodniks in the government, these Zampolits, think it's their business to dictate to us how safe safe our next car is going to be and make us pay for it. It'd be nice if they were generous about it and they were so concerned about our safety that they dipped into their own pockets to make sure that we had 8 airbags and roof crush standards and all the rest of it. But of course they don't do that. They just like to pass these laws. And who appointed them to pass the laws? Did we vote for them? Did you vote for them? I didn't vote for them. I don't recall the EPA or NHTSA ever having been on the ballot. These are regulatory agencies, and under our system of government, or the system of government that's been foisted on us, we're supposed to be able to say yay or nay, to vote for people and to hold them accountable. Well, nobody within the EPA or the NHTSA has ever been put forward to be voted on up or down. Yet these people just have arrogated unto themselves this power to dictate to us about our cars, and it's obnoxious. And I'm hoping that Trump, all of his many flaws notwithstanding, will do something about NHTSA minimally and tell the Zampolits to get out of the business of dictating to people how safe their cars should be. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about defective design. That's actionable. If somebody sells you a car that's defective and it crashes because of a defect, of course you have a right to be made whole, to be compensated, and for that person who sold you the car, the company that sold you the car, to be held accountable for that. But that's very different than designing and building a simple, basic, lightweight car that emphasizes high fuel economy, let's say, and simplicity over crashworthiness. Back in the 70s, if you bought a Volkswagen Beetle or a Datsun B210, as opposed to a big Volvo, you were deliberately choosing a car that emphasized simplicity, lightweight, better fuel economy over the bigger, heavier, more expensive, and yes, safe car in the event that you got into an accident. But most of us don't get into accidents, and therefore it's a cost-benefit analysis. It's a risk that we choose to take if we value things like lightweight and high fuel economy to drive the light car, which gives us the real benefit every single day that we drive it, of being simple and light and fuel efficient, as opposed to this theoretical advantage of having the big, heavy, safe car that would protect you more if you had an accident. But regardless, the point is, it should be up to each of us. It's nobody else's business. I'm not your mommy, you're not my mommy, and I've got every right as a grown-up man to decide for myself how safe my next new car is going to be, and you have every right to make that decision for yourself, and neither of us has the right to force the other to our way of thinking. Anyway, that is today's Libertarian rant from epautos.com. I hope you'll stop by the site if you're interested or intrigued, insulted, offended, and let us know what you think, and we will catch up with you again soon.